Barnslehh. Bloody Barnslehh is who we play tomorrow night. And what a way to kick off the EFL Cup campaign. Trophy numero uno is on the cards. So, what do we think? What do we think? What do we think? The sort of game against lower league opposition, League One Barnsley, it sets the stage, it sets the tone. It's a game that I think invites a lot of wholesale changes to starting 11s and some mad ting scorelines and some shock upset results. It's there's a lot of ingredients. There's a lot of ingredients for some crazy upsets, and is Man United at Old Trafford the team to cause the biggest upset against? Well, I'll tell you what, it would be a monumental upset, but with recent years, it's kind of a recurring theme that occasionally, when things are bad for United and embarrassing and we're wishing for better, this kind of result comes along and it's like the most painful result that you watch. It's like in slow motion for 90 minutes and it's like, oh my God, it's so painful. But then again, it could also be a very comfortable, enjoyable evening of football. I mean, for Barnsley fans, it's a trip to Old Trafford, and their players, it's a game at Old Trafford. They're not going to complain about that. I think they'll be up to the task. They'll seek incentive and push. They'll push their luck, and why not? Why not push your luck against this Man United team? Anything is possible if you put your heart and mind to it. Absolutely anything. So, the biggest talking point is this starting 11. What is the team going to be? Because, man, this team could go all sorts of directions. There's plenty of options available, plenty of choice available. And I think there's a big opportunity, an exploitation of academy prospects. Let's see how confident the manager is in his team selection. How confident are you? How much belief do you have in the younger players? Because it's not just starting third or fourth choice. That might be on the cards. I think there's a little blend of first choice in there as well, potentially. This is from a proposed starting 11 that might be on the cards. But there's a few players that I would like to see get popped into the first team picture, and it'll be interesting to see just how many changes we get coming through tomorrow night, and whether there's some prospect players get the nod, because this is the sort of game that you want to do it. First round of the cup against lowered league opposition. It's not championship, it's League One. So make of that sort of challenge what you will. But I think a little bit of, prospect youth featuring in a blend, a mishmash of some first team experienced players as well, I think creates a nice balance. There is a nice balance to be made there. And I think a lot of players who will be desperate to prove themselves. I think a little more so than you'd find in pre-season, given that pre-season is more like a sort of showcase match rather than an actual competitive match where it's like, well, here's your rotation opportunity. Do well enough, we might keep you around in the big picture, because it's official competition and you rise to the occasion. So we'll have to see what sort of names get included. I suppose one outstanding name that I think I've seen quite a fair bit is one at left back, Harry Amas, a player that a lot of supporters have been sort of pressing the need or the want to see Amas getting minutes in and around the first team, and after some minutes in pre-season, I think people expected him to feature more in matchday squads, and it didn't happen. He wasn't included, and I don't know why that's the case. Whether he's injured or whether he's fully fit or just not incentivized, um, I don't personally know. I don't know really what the story is with Harry Amas and in Ten Hag's estimations, but I would like to see Harry Amas given a nod in this sort of a game because it's there's not many more games in the season, if any, that you're going to get a prime opportunity like this. Maybe in the FA Cup, if the draw really favours you, you can give him a little cup run, maybe. Or Carabao Cup is the cup run, and you say, well, depending on how well you do, this can be your cup. This can be your cup, Amas. So it's if he does get the nod, I hope he does, then big opportunity to prove himself. And onwards and upwards in another young player's career. And it's interesting talking about young players because I saw a video of Cesc Fabregas talking about youth integration and academy players and the story of progressing younger talents and almost this thing about when teams don't put signing lots of experienced first team players first and they're forced to using academy prospects, bringing in a lot of players actually is more beneficial a way to getting higher, you know, higher talents or more recognized talents onto the pitch and meshed into the new first team. So it was an interesting conversation that he had talking about La Masia, the Barcelona team that's struggling to make ends meet with spending money, and then almost shoving a lot of the youth into the first team setup and playing them consistently, and seeing the productivity of La Masia coming through and showing its shine again a little bit with the likes of Pedri, Gavi, Lamine Yamal as the latest import from La Masia. So yeah, it's an interesting conversation he had. I mean, he made an example about Chelsea with Frank Lampard and some of the younger players that he pushed a narrative on and just gave them the platform to play on. And we saw quite a few talents that went from prospect players to outright first team grade, and whether they are they were Chelsea level or not, there was still a reasonable asset. If you were to choose to sell them, a lot of teams would be in demand for them because they're not just a prospect player with a lot of unknowns. If you're quite well known, they featured in a first team picture. So, I mean, if you're a team that aspires for trophies, it's a little bit different. So, yeah, gotta go pick up my underwear from the other room. Um, yeah, it was an interesting conversation that he had about youth integration from La Masia and all of these other clubs where you'll see things like this. But I think if you're a club that's got the aspiration of trophies and being at the top end of football, I think is a little harder a thing to do unless you really do trust that the grade of the players that you have coming through the academy is very well, it's very well rounded. A lot of proper sandbox type players, which you can sort of branch them off in so many different directions, so many different potential specialties, like a Lenny Oro player that we saw him at Lille, and Real Madrid wanted him because of that very reason. If your academy hasn't got quite that same sort of level of prospect, then look elsewhere and see what there is out there in the world of football. And Venioro was there. They wanted him. We looked at the idea and said, well, actually, we also want him. But there's a big opportunity for Man United to do something that Real Madrid don't want to do, and it went our way. So, do you know what? I'm intrigued. I don't know about the whole sort of like throwing lots of youth in there, but then again, we've got players in the first team setup that are sort of doing that sort of job, that integration, that have been doing the integration. We had Garnacho doing it. We've had Kobbie Mainoo doing it. We've now got Collier on the bench trying to do it. I want to see Amas on the bench potentially doing that as well. Getting minutes and opportunities coming off the bench, playing the last 10 minutes of a game that you're in a good position for. Just keep giving him consistency in opportunities, and the progression should be very ideal. No idea what the rest of the team is going to be looking like tomorrow. I think probably Bayendir, the forgotten goalkeeper, the legend that is Altay Bayendir, the unknown second choice goalkeeper. Only played one game so far, it feels like. This is the sort of game he's going to end up playing if he is going to play. If Andre Onana plays this game, then I'm sorry, but Altay Bayendir's got. At this point, you might as well walk. He's not going to get any game time at all whatsoever. But yeah, for me, I want to back the idea that Bayendir will play or start tomorrow. With left back, of course, Amas. Give the opportunity to youth and give him a chance. I think rotation and also experience don't unnecessarily play first team players or the first choice players from the first team setup. So I think probably Johnny Evans and Maguire's a likely partnership. Then again, if Victor Lindelof is fit, maybe he starts as well. I don't know. Diogo Dalot apparently rumoured is a starting right back, which I think would sort of make sense. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Lindelof plays out. Lindelof has been utilised as like a fullback a couple of times already, but for me, I think probably Dalot, the most recognisable sort of right back. That's not really the first choice, even though he kind of plays first choice left back. He's essentially your plan B for right back position at the moment, because Mazraoui's been perceived as the first choice, plan A. So I think Dalot probably at right back. The midfield, maybe Agate starts, maybe he doesn't. I still don't know where Ten Hag's head is at with new signings. Maybe Collier gets some minutes here. I think Kobbie Mainoo is probably going to be rested. First team prospect, well, not first team prospect, but first team player. I think Collier is, there's a plan for him. If you want to give him minutes and start his integration, this is the sort of game you play him in. Maybe he starts, but if he's definitely guaranteed to play tomorrow. 100% Collier is playing tomorrow, whether he's starting or coming off the bench. I think there's an idea. There's an idea there. So we'll have to see what the integration is going to be with that. Casemiro maybe in the setup. It's either him or can't imagine Eriksen would be. Well, maybe Eriksen is in the team. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe Eriksen does come into the team, but I think if Agate's if the plan's Agate ahead of Casemiro, Agate probably is on the bench. Casemiro probably starts. If it's the other way around, I think Casemiro on the bench with Agate starting. I think there's a lot of question marks about who's ahead of who in that midfield pecking order, because I don't think it's as simple or as black and white as some people are making out to be. So I don't know which way around that's going to be. I don't know if Bruno will play, because that's maybe the big head scratcher. Maybe the player in number 10 is actually Christian Eriksen. Maybe he gets pushed forward as the rotation option for the number 10 position, which is where I would play Eriksen. I would play him as number 10. That's his position. He's not cut out for the box to box. He's not cut out for number 6. He's cut out for number 10. That's his makeup. That's his best position throughout his career. And it won't change now. Cannot change now. Cannot do versatility 101. Cannot do it. He's not cut out for it. Too old for it. Not versatile enough. Fixed position. Play him at 10. That's probably the only logical thing I can think of. Playing left-hand side, Garnacho's gone and been relegated by the looks of it. You know, that darn Marcus Rashford, I tell you, he's benched him. Amad Diallo's too good to drop on the right-hand side. You can't drop him. He's probably our most informed, most technically gifted player in the attacking positions. So Diallo probably won't play. Maybe Garnacho plays where Rashford is benched. So Garnacho's become your rotation player and bench option. So I think we can expect to see Garnacho starting on the left. I think Anthony, who's not really featured all that much, he's probably going to end up starting on the right. I'll be interested to see who the striker choice is. Wheatley had increased usage, increased minutes in the striker position, but I don't know if Ten Hag quite trusts it. Don't know if he trusts it enough. Maybe Wheatley plays. Maybe we'll see Xerxes, because that's the only other striker choice really that is fit and available. So I think probably Xerxes is the most likeliest. But if Ten Hag's feeling ballsy, don't be surprised if we see an Ethan Wheatley. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be. Actually, is Wheatley even still at the club? I don't know if he left on. I don't know if he actually left on loan. Is he still at the club? Yeah, he's still at the club. Wheatley's still at the club. He's still at the club. So yeah, maybe Wheatley, but no idea. No idea how it's going to go. As far as the score prediction goes, probably I'll go on along the lines of if we're going to say I'll back this being a more sort of comfortable result. I'll probably go something like a 3/4, 4-0 sort of scoreline, but God only knows what sort of a Barnsley we're going to get, because it could be a really uncomfortable scoreline. But then again, I want to say that we're not going to get an upset, a monumental upset. So I'm going to back a 3/4-0. Let's go 4-0 just for the sake of it. I suppose the more ambitious I am with my score, the more I'm more likely to be embarrassed. It's just the way the universe works, and my luck. That's just how it works. It's just it. That's all there is to it. So I'm going 4-0. Given my my ideal starting 11, or the predicted starting 11 that we're going to get tomorrow, and hopefully it's a win. I'm hoping it's a win. I hope the match reaction's one that we can sit back, chill, put the shades on, even though there's no need to put shades on. It's going to be about this sort of time. Well, actually, it's going to be after another hour. Game won't stop. Game won't end for another hour tomorrow night. So we'll have to see what happens in the proceedings for that game. Aside from that, that's my feelings. What about yours? Give us your thoughts and your verdicts, your predictions. How do you see this game going? What sort of team do you think Ten Hag's going to put out there? As well as your score predictions and all of that good stuff. Don't forget also, whilst you're doing that, hit that big like button somewhere down there. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button somewhere further over that way. That big red button, that's completely free to do. No monthly fee. Unless I get monetized one day and get memberships, then maybe you can subscribe to that, I guess. But that's up to you, if and when it happens. So until then, I guess just subscribe. Just subscribe. Just as simple as that. Put it as simply as I can. Just sub and like and watch. But until then, until tomorrow night, I'm going to love you and leave you. I've got some underwear. I've got some pants to go pick up, and some socks. Maybe a shirt. Maybe some trousers or some shorts. I don't know. We'll have to see what's in the laundry basket. Anyways, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one.